name is Bear Saragusa, and you are listening to the Hunting Hound Podcast presented by W Hunting Supply. Hey folks, Bear here. I'm sitting up in the mountains. Dogs have just settled down after dinner. Had a great run with my youngest dog. This new pup from over in Sweden, this Hulhound pup named Vida. She's young. She's only about 5 months old. Not even that. A little over 4 months old. But she's big. She's real big. She's a pup, so not getting a ton done, but showing me a little bit of some stuff that I like, and I'm enjoying that a lot. She's fun to work with. The rest of the dogs are doing pretty well, actually, all things considered. Buzz and Virpi caught a fox on the ground last week, and I won't go into a ton of detail, but that ended about like you'd expect it would. And the beagle is running hair like a madman, and yeah, things are going pretty well. It got me thinking a little bit about this time last year when things weren't going real well. Things were, Buzz had quit on me. Virpi didn't want to run in the snow. I didn't have a young dog to run. I had just Mike, and at this point the snow was so deep he wasn't really able to do much in it. And being a little tyke, I didn't want to let him do much. So, rather than being out and doing the things that I love to do, I was just kind of sitting around feeling sorry for myself and struggling a little bit. Not gonna lie, I was struggling a little bit. And one of the things that I appreciate so much about the dog community in general, but especially the houndsman community, actually more so than any of the other communities I've been a part of. I'm sure it's definitely been there too. But the houndsman community, the minute that I said that things weren't going real well, I had a bunch of people give me a call. I had a bunch of people reach out. They sent me a message. Jason Doobie reached out. Jared Moss reached out. Chris Ingrams reached out. Ben Sheets reached out. Joseph Krantz reached out. And, I really appreciated that. And it got me thinking a little bit. This past summer, the hound hunting community was kind of hit with a hard loss at least in the Plott community when John Lockhart took his own life. And John lived way, way out in the boonies out in Canada with his Plotts. And, and looking back in hindsight, the people that knew him best, he said for years that, and I'm not one of those people, just that's clear. He said for years that when he couldn't keep up with his dogs anymore, he was going to shoot himself. And I think everybody kind of assumed he was joking. It turns out he wasn't. And, it just got me thinking that I've appreciated so much the hound community's ability, the hound hunting community's ability to rally around people that need it, whether it's a memorial hunt, or whether it is a potluck fundraiser for some medical bills or something like that. And it's something that I just wanted to point out as one of the best qualities. It's not something we talk a lot about. We talk about pups and we talk about hounds and hunts and what people do for their clubs and things like that. But we don't really always talk about what people do for each other. And that's something that I just wanted to point out and extend my thanks to the people who have checked in with me when I've been feeling down, or when I've had an issue that I haven't been able to figure out. Early this fall, I sent what in hindsight was probably a pretty whiny message over to Cleve and Becky Dwyer, being like, I don't know how to deal with this issue that I'm having with this dog right now. Like, I am at a complete loss. My 25 years of training dogs, and I have no clue what to do with this. And they both, like, within minutes got back to me with some good advice and some, if nothing else, really kind words of just like, hey man, happens to all of us. Keep your chin up. And, it's something that I wanted to just express my appreciation for, but also talk a little bit about, because, there's a little bit of a stigma, especially with hound hunters, because hound hunters are tough, man. You got to be tough to keep up with those hounds, and you got to be tough to get into where, so much of the game that we run just lives in these sort of gnarly places that are just, it's hard to get into, and it beats you up mentally. It beats you up physically. That beats up on the dogs, which mentally can be tough. You losing dogs to bear, to the game you're running, that's tough. And I really, really like how the hound hunting community supports each other through that kind of thing, because, we're not really whiners. We're not going to be the ones that put out that passive aggressive Facebook message, rough day, ... And then when people are like, oh, what happened? Answering with, I don't want to talk about it. We're not that type of people. Thank God. But I think sometimes we as a group could be a little bit better about reaching out. And there's been a couple of people who've reached out to me, and I am super, super appreciative of the fact that they did. I've lost friends to suicide because they've lost their battles with mental health. And every opportunity I have to listen, I don't know how much help I am, but at least giving me the opportunity to listen before things get so bad that you don't know what to do, I am so appreciative of that, because I've not gotten that opportunity with some people that meant a lot to me. So that's kind of part of what I wanted to say. Just real quick thing. Didn't want to take up a lot of your time. I've got some really great podcasts coming up, by the way, that I think y'all are going to really like. But I wanted to just say that if you're struggling, if you've got stuff happening that are keeping you out of the woods, or you've had a bad, shit's just not going right, reach out. You don't need to reach out to me, but please feel free to reach out to me. My phone number is in the description of this podcast. I'm on Instagram at The Hunting Hound. And I'm on Facebook, both at The Hunting Hound and as Bear Siragusa on Facebook. If you guys are feeling lousy, don't hesitate to contact me and talk about it. Because what you're doing is not bitching, and you're not being a burden. The real burden is if you leave people wishing that they could have helped you, that they'd had the opportunity to help you. That's a burden. Calling me at 1 a.m. and being like, man, life sucks. You may need to give me a second to get a cup of coffee, but that's small potatoes. Reach out to somebody before things get so bad that you do something drastic. And I say that partially selfishly, because I don't want to be the guy left behind. In addition, hound hunting is under attack now to a degree that we've not been under attack for possibly ever. It is, you've heard me say it, you've heard everybody say it, that we are, when the antis come, they're coming for us. And we can't afford to lose more. We can't afford to lose people. We can't afford to lose another houndsman because we don't have enough of them as it is. So for the sake of yourselves, for the sake of the people you might leave behind, for the sake of the community in itself, take the time when you're feeling low to reach out and talk to somebody. And for anybody and everybody listening to this podcast, if you need somebody to talk to, but don't want to burden a family member, give me a call, because, you're not burdening me. And each individual houndsman is too valuable to lose. So that's all I wanted to say. We're getting into the crazy season here with Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that stuff. And it's not everybody's going to be as excited about it as at least my kids and wife seem to be. And I just want to let everybody know that I appreciate you listening and that I am more than willing to return the favor. Man, I love that sound.